Yeah, I think in general, Malefic Talon is the standout one, and then for me it's basically like, do you have the champion?
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Raid Shadow Legends video. Blazin here, and today we are discussing the Chimera relics. In specific, we're going to be discussing the rare relics. And to get some help on this, because I have no idea what some of these do or how they work, we brought in the specialist here, Bick. Bick, what is going on, brother? How are you?
I'm good, Blazing. Thanks for having me.
Okay, so in the last video, we talked about the relics for the standard version. Now, and we broke down all of the rare relics, where we can use them and what we can do with them. Now, it's time for us to really much do the same thing with the Chimera relics, right? So we have the Malefic Talon, Daidem of Undeath, Tempus of Sanquinis. I'm probably butchering all of these, and Molten Deathbell. But you know, I learned a lot in the last video, and a lot of people actually learned quite a bit out of it as well. So let's go ahead, let's break down, and let's take a look at the Malefic Talon, where it has a 20% chance to deal 10% more damage when attacking. Gives us 40 crit damage when fully ascended, HP, and attack. What are we doing here?
So the Malefic Talon is amazing. First of all, you get one of the most valuable stats right off the bat, crit damage. And you get a lot of crit damage. So purely based on the fact that it gives crit damage with the triangle gem slot makes it already a very, very good relic. So the triangle gem slots, they are kind of hard to obtain because they are limited by you winning Hydra Clash. However, they are all damage based. So if you're like looking for a damage dealer, you want crit damage, the Malefic Talon gives you very easy accessible crit damage. It gives you the correct gem slot, which is the triangle one. And even better, leveling it up increases the damage dealt up to 30% if you have it maxed out, which is obviously insane. So 1 in 5 hits will deal 30% extra damage. This is obviously going on your nukers, and this is obviously going to be a very big difference maker in like Hydra, Chimera. This is going to allow you to get like high scores.
Okay, let me ask you. So I have mine put on my new, and my thought behind this was his A3. Now, does each hit on his A3 count as a different chance, or just a 1?
Yeah, so basically it says when attacking, and the moment you activate the A3, that is basically an ability you're using. And the game hasn't been consistent about multi-hitters and single hits, right? Because in the past, I believe we had Mighty Uko,
Yep.
where you could put a stun set on, and then each separate instance of the hit could land a stun. And nowadays, this is no longer the case. Now, we have something similar with champions like Akentum, who basically has an AoE triple hitter that can apply a curse effect, and each separate instance of this can apply a curse. So if you don't land it on the first or second hit, you can still get the curse or the hex to land on the last hit.
Okay.
Based on the wording, I would say that you are right, that every single instance of damage counts as a possible chance for the Malefic Talon to deal increased damage.
Okay. So counterattack would work as well, and so would ally attack. Okay.
Correct, yes. So I've been using this on Ninja and Toshiro in Hydra combined with the Mikage, and I've definitely noticed that it's been making a difference.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Okay, so would you use this as a food, or is this just we got to level this up to 6-star?
This is for me a level it up to 3 stars for now, and keep using it, and then focus on leveling up your epics and legendaries if you have them, because there are better damage relics in the game. But if you've been unlucky, then definitely get this one to at least 3 stars. It's going to be a difference maker. Definitely not a chicken.
Daidem of Undeath. Now, for this one, what do? We get where its defense is increased by 1% for each ally protection place buff on them. It gives us defense, HP, and resistance. Now, is this stackable for each ally protection, and does it get a cap?
Ooh, that's interesting. That's a very good question. So, first of all, the way it's worded is the champion that is applying the ally protection gets their defense increased. It specifies the wearer's defense.
Right.
So in that sense, it is not stackable that you are increasing the entire team defense, but what you could do is have a bunch of ally protectors wear this relic and have their own defense increased. However, an ally can only have one ally protect buff on them at the time. So this means that whoever's ally protect buff is currently active is the champion that's getting the defense increase. So I would not recommend stacking this.
Okay. So the wearer receives defense increased by 1% for each ally. So this would go on a champion like Ursuga, correct?
Yeah, basically any champion that wants defense and ally protection can use this. I'm personally using it on Miscreated Monster on one of my own accounts. He's an HP based nuker, but he does have ally protection on the A3. You could also use this with champions that are running the Selfless Defender Masteries, for example, where they will receive a portion of the damage that somebody else is taking. So this is definitely an interesting relic. I don't per se like it. I don't think it's a bad one. It's just that there are a lot better relics, and you do have to decide on which relics you turn into chickens. So maybe keep one or two of these because they are kind of interesting. For the simple fact that the wearer's defense increases by 1% for each ally. And if you rank it up, you get an additional percent. So if you rank it up all the way to 6, you get a 6% defense increase per ally. So counting itself, because the champion itself is also its own ally, if you have 5 champions in the team, if you've maxed this out, this is a 30% defense increase.
Okay, so I think I might actually, I still have one, and I might put this on my Acelin because he has the protected ally protection.
I am running this one on my Acelin in my Brutal Hydra team. That is a Thunder team, so yeah.
Okay, all right. So yeah. we're gonna get some reworks on the relics on the champions. I think I was doing this way wrong. All right. So is this one so far a chicken, or do we consider leveling this up?
It is definitely a chicken, but it is a chicken you want to keep one of in your back pocket.
Let's go to Tempus Sanguinius. I think that's what it is. Who comes up with these names at Plarium? Please make them dyslexic friendly.
Tempus Sanguinis.
Tempus Sanguinis. Okay. So this gives us HP, accuracy, and defense. And then whereas turn meter reduction effects are boosted by 15%. I look at this and I think of Armand's. I think of just pure cancer arena. Am I wrong?
Yes and no. So when we're talking about these types of champions, we're also talking about Doom Towers because we're talking about wave control. And basically, what Armand's type champions excel in is wave control. And if you're controlling somebody in the arena, you're still applying wave control mechanics, but you're not progressing to the next wave. You're progressing to the next skip opponent's turn. I think personally for Armand's, there are better relics. However, there is context. Not everyone has all the relics. And you will also need chickens. So this is definitely a relic that I am using, and I think people should be using. And eventually, once you get to the point where we have better relics, or you have better relics on your account, then you can start using these types of relics on chickens, or you can put the better relics on the champions that you value higher, and then move these down to other champions. So I personally think the Tempus Sanquinis is a match made in heaven for Mikage.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah. On her spider, her alternate form, she has turn meter reduction. But if I look at the stats I want on Mikage, both in PvP and PvE, it's HP and accuracy. And the defense is nice, but I don't really care too much about defense because we have diminishing returns. So, to give a short explanation for the people at home, defense basically is very valuable until you reach a certain point. And the damage reduction that you get for going beyond that point will be smaller and smaller. So at a certain point, once you've reached a certain amount of defense, HP becomes more valuable in combination with that amount of defense. And this relic is a very easy slap on champions that you've already built and hit the amount of defense on. And it gives a lot of HP. It also gives 51 possible accuracy, which is, needless to say, also quite a lot.
Right.
Yeah, and if we rank this up all the way to 6, which I don't think many people will do, but hey, we don't know. Maybe some very big PvP enthusiast endgame player is going to find out something down the road months from now that maxing this up allows you to do some very nasty things. This goes all the way to a 30% turn meter reduction boost.
Okay.
And so Armand's is stealing turn meter. He's not reducing the turn meter. He is stealing it. But if we look at champions like Eostrit and Mikage, those are champions that are reducing it. And I think those are the champions that shine the most with this relic.
Okay.
Now,
So
I feel like
goofed up on that.
yeah, I
Just a
feel
little
like
bit.
I feel like there's an argument to be made for Eostrit. Maybe you want a Journal of Necrotis on her instead of Tempus Sanguinis. But I think you can't really go wrong with either option. It's like a coin flip. Which one is going to be better for Eostrit? It's situational for her. But I personally think that for Mikage this is amazing because you can use this in Doom Tower if you don't have Armands. I personally don't have an Armand on my account. I use Mikage to get through the like difficult waves. At least the first time I did it on Doom Tower, and I would have loved a Tempus Sanguinis on my Mikage back then. And yeah, for the people that don't have an Armand and you can't control the Doom Tower waves quite as good, Mikage is available for everyone in the game. Might take you a while to get her, but Tempus Sanguinis is definitely a good and viable relic on a champion like her.
So would this stack up towards like Evil Eye, I think it is, where the first hit on your A1 reduces the opponent's turn meter?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Okay. So this could also be useful for like normal mode Fire Knight, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. That's good to know.
Definitely.
That's good to know. So Cold Heart could definitely come in, especially for, I wonder if that would work for like stage 20 and above, because it's capped on how much turn meter you can take or deplete. Maybe we'll do some testing with that and see how well that works. Let's talk about Molten Deathbell. Now this one's very, dyslexic friendly, so thank you for that, Plarium.
Only the name.
Only the name. Yeah, only the name. I looked at this and like halfway after reading it, I was just like, yeah, I'm tired of reading it. I don't even know what it does. It looks like food, but maybe I'm wrong. But the wearer's turn meter increased by 10% when applying a stun, sleep, fear, true fear, freeze, provoke, petrification, and sheep debuffs to enemies occurs once per turn. Now that I read it out loud and I'm thinking about it, this definitely seems like an Armand's.
This one is nasty.
Okay.
I am using this one actively on multiple champions. Both in PvP and PvE. So first of all, the first stat it gives is accuracy, and it almost like gives 100 accuracy, which is ridiculous. Like 100 accuracy? Are you kidding me? Like this is incredibly powerful based on the fact alone that it gives. Like if it had no text on it, like no wording, and it just gave the accuracy, I would already be using this one.
Okay.
This just for that fact. Now, on top of that, immense amount of accuracy that it gives. It also gives turn meter. Now, if there are two things that are a match made in heaven in this game, it is accuracy and speed, and turn meter equals speed. This can be used in PvP. This can be used in PvE. And it's a workhorse of a relic. If you have a champion that has a stun, sleep, fear, true fear, freeze, provoke, petrification, sheep mechanic that wants accuracy, which is basically all of them, except for a certain friendly void champion we can get in the clan shop. This thing is amazing. I am personally using this one in PvP on Harima.
Okay.
Because I didn't have the gear to build Harima as a nuker and then also have a decent amount of accuracy to land the provoke. With this relic, I will have 100 additional accuracy, and on top of that, if I land the provoke, there's a next turn. That means I didn't wipe the enemy team. I'm filling my turn meter, so I get to go faster and finish the job. It's like, I don't have infinite relics. I'm putting my best nuker relics on my best nukers, and I'm prioritizing Chimera and Hydra. But these relics can perfectly fill the gaps for like these weird champions that have like these weird mechanics. I'll give you another example. If you're doing hard Fire Knight, and here comes like the bad wording of Plarium into play. So the relic specifies when applying, and then it lists a bunch of buffs or debuffs as like a condition. You get the turn meter. So I was struggling on hard Fire Knight where my nut didn't have enough speed, and basically I had to decide like, do I rebuild my nut and do I break my spider team and like a bunch of other areas for Fire Knight, or like am I gonna like waste glyphs and then hope that my 6-star glyphs all hit max rolls, which is unlikely to happen, to be able to fix my Fire Knight hard team. And then this Molten Deathbell appeared, as if Plarium heard my pains. And so for the people that don't know, Nut has like a multi-hitter on the A1. And Fire Knight Heart basically specifies that when you apply a freeze to him, he doesn't get frozen, but his turn meter reduces. However, we have bad wording and we have a buggy-ish game, and Molten Deathbell, without Nut being able to apply the freeze, he is still getting the turn meter, and the turn meter increase is per hit. So I fixed my speed issue on my Nut by simply equipping this Molten Deathbell, and I also got some additional accuracy on top of it for free.
Wow.
So yeah, there's like definitely some funky and weird stuff where this one doesn't really function the way you would expect it to function based on the wording. But it's a very interesting relic. I wouldn't say it's amazing and you should be using it on every champion. You should be holding on to them. I still think it's a chicken, but keep in mind, this is one of the easiest ways to get accuracy on your champions. And the text on the bottom, while niche, it can have some uses.
Okay. So once per turn. So every time. Okay. All right. Because as of right now, I have Malefic Talon on my nut. Should I change it to Molten Deathbell, even though I don't have an issue with my speed tune?
If you're hitting your speed and if you're good on accuracy, I think the Malefic Talon is way better.
Okay.
But for those that aren't as blessed in rolling speed accuracy on our accounts, then Molten Deathbell can definitely be a difference maker.
Okay, well, I don't know if it's blessed or if it's just too much pay to win, but it's one of those.
I wouldn't call myself free to play by any stretch of the means. I'm pretty much up there in what many would call Kraken territory or Cthulhu maybe. But at the end of the day, we're all left to the mercy of Plarium's RNG.
That is
And
true.
in my case, and I've streamed it a couple of times now, and people were actually amazed by it. The amount of quads, trips, and even quints rolls I have gotten on resistance are obnoxious, and those on speed are basically non-existent. So yeah.
Yeah, I feel that. I feel that.
I am just to give you like a an indicator of how slow my account is. I'm almost gold 4 in live arena. Yesterday I got physics. I already have Quintus on my account, and I'm running a 250 speed team.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe we should be talking about some live arena tips and tricks for, go second teams.
Yeah.
All right, so looking at them now, judging, which one of these, if I was to use for food and which one I was not, I'm going to say Malefic Talon is going to be the must-keep one for me. I'm going to go with Molten Deathbell probably as my, second or runner-up. Tempus Sanquinis, and then it looks like Daidem Of Undeath is probably, like my fourth one. Am I getting this right?
Yeah, I think in general, Malefic Talon is the standout one, and then for me, it's basically like, do you have the champion? Because you're probably gonna want to keep one of the Molten Deathbell, one Daidem, one Tempus Sanquinis, in case you get that champion, because these relics are very good, but it's like very specific use cases. The Malefic Talon is always good, and the Molten Deathbell is it's an easy way to get a very valuable stat in that accuracy. So definitely Malefic Talon, hands out, like stand out on top, and then Molten Deathbell for the accuracy, and then I would argue the Tempest is better than the Diadem, but yeah, it depends on the account.
Okay, so after you keep your one, then you can feed the rest of them as food, basically.
Basically, yeah.
All right. Well, I definitely learned a lot in this one. I feel like I got to go back and just redo all of my champions with their relics, because I'm just learning more and more and more, and I hope that you guys are as well. And if you are, make sure that in the comments down below, you guys thank Bick for taking the time to kind of break all of this stuff down for us, for people that are smart outside of the game, but not as smart inside of the game. I'm talking about myself, guys. I'm talking about myself. That said, Bick, thank you so much again for coming on the channel and discussing this with us. It's a world of insight. It helps us so much. And everybody really appreciates it. Join us every Sunday, 2 p.m. EST for the Knights of Teleria podcast, where we dive into the world of Raid Shadow Legends, discussing everything from free-to-play strategies to pay-to-win insight, and covering the journey from early to mid-game. Whether you're a newbie or a seasoned player, we have something for everyone. Don't miss out on the Knights of Teleria podcast, the only podcast for Raid Shadow Legends. All right, so before we let it off, I gotta ask you for a shout-out. What you got for me?
That's it's gonna go to Bronk Cat Herder for me this time. Amazing guy. He does a lot of account help. He's also on YouTube. He's also on Twitch, and I believe he's currently fourth, or maybe he mentioned to me the other day that he was pushing for third in the Hell Hades free to play challenge. So
Ooh, okay.
if you're on a new mid or maybe even late game account and you're struggling and you're like, hey, I really don't know what to do, he's a really nice guy. Don't be afraid. Like, I hope you like cat memes because he has a lot of them, but he is definitely the guy who can help you out if you have some questions. So definitely check him out.
Definitely love Brunt. He's actually helped me out a couple of things, especially with like my whole setup for OBS and stuff like that, trying to get my microphone ready and stuff. He definitely gave me a huge help with that, but huge shout out to him. As always, guys, much love, much appreciation. Be safe, be well, be good to each other, and we'll catch you guys next time.